Hello everyone, welcome back. Today's review, we're taking a look at the TRESPASS, a distance driver from Dynamic Discs. Let's start things off with the flight numbers. The TRESPASS, speed 12, glide 5, turn negative 0.5, and a fade of 3. And then when taking a look at the profile, I wouldn't necessarily call the TRESPASS pop-topped, but it does have a pretty substantial amount of dome to it, which does give it a pretty deep feel, which does feel very comfortable for backhand because for my grip, it does fill my entire hand. Now, being a speed 12 driver, it does have a pretty wide rim at 2.1 centimeters. However, even for a speed 12, there are definitely others that are wider. So as a speed 12, this honestly to me feels more like a speed 11 in the hand. Which is great because even with my baby hands, I can still get a very comfortable grip. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about flight, because the TRESPASS is the medium to slower arms perfect overstable option for a driver. It's workable enough that when thrown flat, it's going to get a little bit of turn even for medium arm speed players, and then it's always going to have a really nice predictable finish. Even as you start getting more torque on it, like with forehand, you're going to definitely see more turn in the mid-flight, but it's going to check up, it's going to have a very overstable finish. So if you're a medium slower arm and you need a driver that you can trust over OB or into a medium headwind, then this may be a driver you want to take a look at. Unlike most other semi-overstable distance drivers, for slower arms, medium arms, this disc again is very workable. You can put it on an anhyzer line like this and it's going to hold that turn, not necessarily turn into a roller, but it's going to hold the turn as like you're seeing here. And then just at the very end, it's going to try to fight out, it's going to hyzer back, so you can definitely trust it on so many different angles, really adding to the versatility of the TRESPASS. It is also worth noting the TRESPASS does have a good amount of glide to it, so even for those medium and slower arm speed players, this is still a good long-range distance driver, even though it's overstable, just because it has that good amount of glide to it. So if you can put this thing just a little bit of an anhyzer angle like this, it is going to have a good amount of glide. Before then, it's going to try to check up and then hyzer back at the very end. I mean, this is just a perfect force over flex disc when it comes to medium slower arms, because it's going to hold that turn for a good portion of the flight. It's going to hold that slight anhyzer angle without fully turning over into a roller, just like you're seeing here. And then just in that later stages of the flight, it's going to flip up, level itself out, and then have a hyzer finish. Now, for those of you who have faster arms and this Lucid Ice Orbit TRESPASS might just be a little bit too understable for you faster arms, well, you are in luck because the TRESPASS does come in a lot of different plastic types, as we're going to get into later in the video, so there's definitely a TRESPASS for everyone. Alright, we've seen what the TRESPASS can do in a wide open field. Let's go out to the course. For the first hole here, you have a lot of trees lining the fairway on both the left and right hand side, and a big tree right smack dab in the middle, so you have two different fairways you can take. Being the lefty, I am going to just take this nice lefty gap and just throw with just a mild bit of hyzer flip up and hyzer into the basket for the ace, unless you're me and you just get the most rude tree kick all the way down the hill. Now this next hole is a perfect example to show how the TRESPASS can handle the extra torque when it comes to a forehand shot. As long as I throw the TRESPASS with a little bit of hyzer, it's not going to stay too straight or turn into the danger on the right. Instead, it's going to check up pretty quick and just have that nice predictable finish towards the basket. So this next hole is a pretty short water carry. The primary danger is the tall bushes on the edge of the water that could potentially knock you back out of bounds. Now, with the TRESPASS being a great flexing force over disc, I'm going to start on that anhyzer line, get it to hold the turn over the water, but then know before it does get to those bushes, it's going to check up and it's going to land me right in the middle of the fairway. Now, I mentioned earlier the TRESPASS does come in a wide variety of different plastic types, and as you can see, there is a lot of different plastic types, so you can really find the one that's going to work for you. Very slow arms, I would definitely go with, like, say, the Lucid Air. But if you're a bigger arm, you're going to want to reach for the Lucid X TRESPASS. This thing has a lot of added torque resistance, so if you're a bigger arm, this is perfect for those big forehands, backhands, also good for windy days. And even if you are a medium or slower arm speed player that likes the feel of the TRESPASS, you can pick up a Lucid X and it is going to be the perfect wind fighting driver. Now, if you're wanting a trespass that when thrown flat is going to give you these effortless S-curving flex shots, you want to go with the hybrid. These things are kind of more on the neutral to slightly understable side of the spectrum when it comes to the trespass, so it's absolutely perfect if you're looking for, say, that seasoned trespass feel right out of the box. Now, if you are a slower arm or you are really looking for a trespass that you can hyzer flip to flat and get to ride in extremely long straight lines, or even for just really controlled turnover shots, the Bio-Fuzion, this thing breaks in incredibly quick. Within a few rounds, it is going to be an extremely flippy driver. Okay, let's go ahead and compare the flight of these 4 different plastic types. For the Lucid Ice, thrown just the slightest of anhyzer lines, you can see it starts off straight, gets into that mid-flight, gets a good amount of turn before checking up, and then having a nice strong hyzer finish back. The Bio-Fuzion, I told you, this is the most understable option besides maybe the Lucid Air, and it really shows that. The hybrid kind of meets in the middle between those two. Starts off straight, just like the Lucid Ice Orbit, but then it has a monstrous amount of turn in that mid-flight, just very effortless S-curving shots before having a good finish at the end. And then the Lucid X is almost like another disc. I mean, it just adds a whole other just notch up when it comes to stability. So again, if you are a faster arm, that is going to be the one that I would recommend for you. They just hold torque so incredibly well. They fight the wind really well. And even if you're just, say, needing a distance driver that you can trust in a pretty good headwind, definitely then look for that Lucid X. But if you're more on the side of, hey, I need something a lot flippier, more understable, can't go wrong with the Bio-Fuzion or even the hybrid. The hybrid will beat in fairly quickly and will give you just a good flight. And for something just in the middle, kind of bridging the gap, you know, these Lucid Ice Orbits, these things are probably one of the best runs of trespass that I have ever thrown. Well, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already and like this video. Get those YouTube algorithms going. Also, go ahead, follow me over on Instagram at CheatingLeftyDiscGolf. And if you want to try the trespass for yourself, be sure to visit GreatLakesDisc.com. Use the promo code LEFTY at checkout to save yourself 10% to not only support an amazing store in Great Lakes Disc, but to also support the channel as well. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you again all for the support. Until the next one, keep banging chains.